You're listening to the Mobcast Network.
Welcome to a very special Cult Movie Cantina. Woo! At least I have someone. So, as you can tell, it's just me and Caleb in the audience. I'm your Native American pop culture spirit guide, Scotty, and I'm joined by Caleb.
Hey, everybody.
Caleb, are you in the picture?
Yeah, I got
you can put yourself in the big screen.
I'm in the big screen. All
Look
right.
at him.
There we go.
Am I in picture now?
No, only the camera one can be.
So it doesn't work
picture.
that way.
Yeah.
So we're, whatever.
We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out. This is the podcast that talks about movies and adds alcohol and shows somebody who doesn't see them. But today's a cult meeting where we don't talk about any of our normal format. Today's Halloween. We're recording on Halloween, so you guys will actually see it on November 3rd, I think is when it comes out. But that's a long-winded way of saying that Steph's not here because she's getting ready to give out treats to the children. That's what she does. Her and her husband, they do the treats and so I don't know if they're so much into tricks, but they're into the treats. And Jestina, our Jellicle Jester, is under the weather.
Yeah,
she got the strep throat. At least it's not the COVID. So she said it's the worst sore throat she's had in a long time, and I hope she feels better soon. Sore throats suck.
Yeah, not a fun time.
I don't like being sick at all, but like sore throats suck. And because you have to swallow.
Yeah, like
you can't not swallow
because you got to eat at some point. You got to have something to drink,
and
especially if you're sick,
right? And you tend to swallow more. And it's like, would you look, guys? We hurt. Stop making saliva. But it's like, no, we're gonna make all the saliva. So,
yep.
So I feel for her, like
especially because it's the fever on top of that. So got to
sucks.
have something to drink to get that back.
So if you're inclined to pray, keep them in your prayers and thoughts, because I know we will too. So get better, Jestina. We hope to have everyone back next week. But we'll tell you about what we're going to watch next week at the end of the show. So hey, so if you like us, you can rate us on whatever app you rate stuff on. Apple is a good one. We're on Apple, and you can rate us, and that helps us out. And be sure to subscribe. And if you're watching us on YouTube, please definitely subscribe to our YouTube page, because we're making content all the time.
Yeah. Leave some likes, comments.
We like to. I interact with all the comments. So.
All the good stuff.
Oh, most of them. So, because sometimes I'll get like, "Hi, I'm Sexy84 from Argentina."
Yeah.
I'm like, "You're a Russian bot,"
or them like going, "Look at my channel."
Right, and but it's like I don't mind looking at someone else's channel, but it's like a Russian bot.
That, or they have like nothing on there.
Right. Oh, it's just like no. It's like the Facebook. You ever get? You're on Facebook.
Yeah.
I'm on Facebook, and for those who are on Facebook. Majority of my friend requests are random hot chick from some faraway place.
Try to get you on that WhatsApp.
Right. He's like, hey, come join me on WhatsApp. And I'm like, I wonder who falls for that scam. Or is it really one lonely pretty girl from Argentina who's like, why won't anyone like me? I posed in the sexy bikini. I'm by the pool. I'm doing all these things. No men will like me. And I'm like, I just don't trust you. I don't. You're like a Nigerian prince to me. So,
especially when you just give me your number. Like,
my other favorite one is when friends of mine who have been quote unquote hacked, when someone's got their account, they'll clone it,
and
then they'll hit you up on Messenger and they'll go, hi. And you're like,
hi, what?
I'm also like, you've never spoken to me on Messenger, so let's see where this goes. Yeah. And I had one from a friend of mine in California. She's an older lady, and I guess she got hacked, and so she hit me up, and it was like, hi. And I was like, oh, hello. And she's like, how you been? And I'm like, good. And like the conversation between came more like how like AI tries to figure out how to be human.
Yeah.
So I'm basically trying to help this Terminator destroy us, I guess. And at the end of it was like, do you like money? I'm like, well, of course I do. And she's like, well, did you get your government money? I'm like, yeah, I got my government money.
That was a few months ago, but
yeah, it was last year. Like, she goes, did you know there's more? And I was like, no, there's not. Oh, I know a way to so and so. I'm like, you're not real.
Yep.
Oh, you're not real.
Yeah, it makes me think of kind of think of that Twitter bot that everybody, the Microsoft one that became so like really bad because of how people taught it.
Oh yeah, it became
very racist.
Yeah, like became a white supremacist bot or anti-Semitic or became terrible. Did you hear about the two Google AIs? Google made two AIs and they started talking to each other, and they talked to each other to a point where they were talking in their own language that the programmers didn't know. Yeah. So they had to unplug it because they're like, we can't have Skynet.
We can't have it having its own language that we aren't able to interpret.
So speaking of AIs, Zuckerberg has came in. Welcome to the AI podcast. So, I guess this is movie adjacent because Terminator.
Yeah.
But so Zuckerberg renamed the parent company of Facebook to Meta.
Yep.
And so he had this
because he thinks it's a great rebranding strategy.
Sure, whatever.
But I mean, everybody's still going to know it as Facebook,
right? I mean, the app's not changing. Instagram's not changing. Is just the parent company's becoming Meta, which I think is a dumb name, but that's okay. He has more money than me. He can name whatever he wants. But it looks so artificial. Like none of it seemed real.
Yeah, like all the pictures look really fake. And then of course you sent the one to the Star Wars.
Yeah, the channel, the one with the Jar Jar.
Yeah.
My question was, and I don't know if it was true or not, but was there really a barbecue sauce bottle in the background, or did someone add that in? Because I can't figure it out.
I have no clue.
I'm going to say it was real.
Yeah,
because it's almost like, and this is why I think he's an AI. This is one of two reasons. First one, like an AI would be like, humans like barbecue sauce, so we'll put that to make seem homely, and so he puts it on the shelf, like out of context. It's just like which is weird. He also just may be that kind of weird dude. He just seems weirdly off kilter.
Yeah, like
I hate there's no SNL this week because I would have loved to seen SNL do their take on this whole thing.
Yeah, because the Social Network kind of showed us that he's never been really that well connected to understanding people.
Well, I don't know if he's like. At least I think Social Network kind of humanizes him
more than he actually is.
Right, you're right. It's like it's so bizarre to me. So. There's another clip I watched on Twitter someone shared. I think I shared it too, but it's him talking to someone else at Facebook about some games feature they're going to put on Facebook.
Oh, okay, yeah.
They're super excited about it, but it's so artificial, and so it's not just non-actors reading bad scripts. It's non-actors. It's almost like a training video at Wendy's. So it's just like, hi, I'm Mark Zuckerberg, and I'm excited to have this person here to talk about this thing. And she's like, oh, we are also excited to have this thing.
Hey, as long as he teaches us some grill skills, then we're good.
Oh, man. I don't. Look, I welcome our robot overlords. I hope their leader is not Zuckerberg. So
I don't want it to be Elon Musk either, though. Like.
I don't think Elon. See, here's the thing. I think Zuckerberg is an AI. Elon Musk has to be an alien.
Yeah,
and that's the movie.
Because all he wants to do is go to space.
Right, he's trying to get home. All he's trying to do is just trying to get home. He gets on Joe Rogan, smokes some weed, and like, we're going home. That's what we're gonna do. But no. See, I'd watch that movie, Zuckerberg versus Elon Musk, robots versus aliens. I would watch it. That would be the show. I would watch the hell out of it. But
be entertaining.
We should make that movie, Caleb. We should get Drew. We'll make that movie. JD can be Elon Musk.
I mean, because we do want to get back into making stuff.
We do.
It'd be good.
So, speaking of things, you watched a bunch of horror. It's Halloween, so you watched a bunch of horror films, right?
Yeah. So one of my friends, Jameson, he always he moved away, but then he came back, and every year, as tradition, he would organize a Halloween movie marathon with a gimmick. Usually we pick, like, what trope of horror.
Again, you can switch yourself. You're talking.
Yeah.
He's not used to it. He's all like...
I'm excited about the picture-in-picture.
We're trying to figure out our new black magic switcher,
yeah. So this year we did horror comedies. 4 out of so we always do 6 movies. Because basically we start at noon and then we go until whenever everybody gets tired or if we watch all of them.
Right.
And we assume like 2 hours each for each movie, so that's why 6 works out. This year, 4 out of the 6 I had not seen ever. I had already seen Happy Death Day and Freaky. because I like that. That's a good director. I like his work.
I've not seen Freaky, but it looks great.
Yeah, Vince Vaughn is hilarious.
I like Vince Vaughn, so yeah.
So this year we did The Final Girls, Anna and the Apocalypse,
which is really good.
Yeah, that one's really good. Honestly, all of them I enjoyed. Idle Hands and Attack the Block.
Yeah, that is a robust list there. I had to work this weekend from the real job, and so I was doing Caleb's job up north. I was running a switcher. But one of the perks is that event doesn't happen until late night, so I'm stuck in the hotel room all day just doing whatever. So I rented a couple of movies, and I ended up watching 2 of the 3 I rented. I watched the Forever Purge because I'm a huge fan of the Purge movies.
Okay.
Have you seen the Purge movies?
I've seen the first one, and I saw the third one on, I want to say, Election Year.
Election Year, which is my least favorite.
Yeah.
So for those, we're going to do Purge actually this season. The first Purge, and we'll talk more about this and probably revisit this when we talk of the Purge. But for those who are unaware of what the Purge is, it's a movie about a political party called the New Founding Fathers, who are, I guess, super ultra conservative. They're like Republicans on super crack.
Yeah.
Who have gained control of both the White House and Congress. And they've passed a law where one day of the year, all crime is legal for 12 hours, including murder, which they have to specify that. They're like, and murder? No, we said all crime. All crime's legal.
Yeah.
The movie mostly focuses on the murder.
Like there's some looting, but it's mostly the murder.
Right. You don't see a lot of people robbing. Most people like, we're going to assault and kill people.
Yeah.
And so the first Purge focuses on a family, like a middle class family or an upper middle class family, and how they survive during the Purge. The second one is the flip side. It's about what does the poor do in urban areas?
Yeah,
and it's really good. Third movie is about,
it's kind of about the poor, but also about like people trying to overturn the
right.
Purge.
It's another party trying to stop the Purge.
Yeah,
and then the fourth one is called The First Purge, which is, I think, my favorite of the group. I really like one, but the First Purge is basically someone took the idea of the Purge, mixed it with The Wire, and then added Die Hard. And it's like,
okay, that's interesting,
right? So it's they did the test on Staten Island, and so they've got a lot of urban folks who, so that's your wire connections. People got corners to protect and projects to defend, and and then, like I said, the last third act is basically becomes Die Hard. This guy in a building, and
because the first film was kind of like, this is just the setup of the world, and then it from there it kind of became very political and being like, the Purge exists to deal with urban communities.
So in the fourth one, I'm going to spoil some of it.
Okay.
The fourth one, at the end of the fifth one, the newest one.
Okay.
The Forever Purge.
Yeah.
Because they went. This is the fourth one in continuity because the first Purge takes place. It's a prequel.
Yeah.
So the New Founding Fathers lose the presidency for 8 years. So the lady in 3, she becomes president.
Yep.
She serves 8 years.
Yep.
Well, after that end of the 8 years, they ended the Purge. There was no Purge. Then the New Founding Fathers got back in power. The first thing they did was it's Purge time. We're going to purge it. Purge. And so that's what they do.
Yeah.
And so this is the first Purge since they've got back in power. This time we're in Texas.
Yeah, because I remember seeing a lot of cowboy iconography.
Yeah, it's kind of a rural town in Texas with some ranchers with some money. So there's some money tie-in. It's really in the end of the day, white supremacist versus immigration movie.
Okay.
So it's,
I mean, like I said, the Purge films are kind of they focus on that stuff.
Right. So it's I enjoyed it. I'd rank it above. So there's 5 of them now.
Yeah.
I would rank it number 4.
Okay.
It's got enough action. The characters are really interesting, but again, a lot of it's just the kind of same old. The hitch with this one, and it's in the title, so there's not much of a spoiler. they do Purge Night, and Purge Night's like literally takes 10 minutes of the movie, and then these guys across the country go, "It's gonna be the Forever Purge," and they just keep purging.
I mean, yeah, because in a way, there's like no way to truly stop people from doing it other than arresting them. But like, if everybody's doing it,
see,
then what are you gonna do?
I assumed like the thing about the Purge was the Purge creates less crime rate during the year. Theoretically, so like the drug rates are down and crime rates are up. So that's how the new founding fathers spend it. It's like it's good for the country. Everyone gets a chance to release the beast and get all their evil stuff out in one day, and then they are like, we're going to be good for the rest of the year. But since they got back in power, it just got real crazy, and so like there's a journalist, and it's in a TV set in the background. But it's great. The guy's like, people are still purging, after the time. We don't know what. And there's a guy outside goes, "Fake news," and shoots that guy in the head. And I was like, oh, this is what kind of movie we're making. All right.
Yeah. So I wonder about the continuity, because there's also the TV show.
Yeah.
So do you know how that fits in?
So the TV show happens, I think, between 2 and 3.
Okay.
No, I think, wait, it may be earlier.
Okay, so it's like
I saw the first season. I didn't see the second season. I think it's because in the first movie, the Purge had been around for like 10 years. This is like the 10th or 11th Purge.
So it might just be like the build up to.
But you know what? It'll give me something to do when we get to the Purge movie. I'll do the research on that. So.
Yeah. Okay.
I know Purge fans are just screaming out, but in the last 10 years, I think it's my favorite modern horror film. It's
just a lot of fun.
Also, out of everything that you see, it has the highest percentage of happening. You're not going to get zombies. You're not going to get ghosts or demons. But, the right political party comes in and gets into power and say, hey, you can kill everybody. Everyone can kill people on a day. People may go for that.
Yeah.
I don't trust enough Americans to be like, no, that's a bad idea. I don't, especially right now. So,
who knows?
So I think that's what's great / horrifying about it. It could happen. So
yep.
I watched that, and I watched Spiral.
Okay. Yeah, that's the only one of the Saw films I haven't seen yet.
Not great, but I knew that going in.
Okay.
Not terrible. It is almost as least believable as what's the name? John. What's Jigsaw's name? John, what's his face?
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Kramer?
Yeah, John Kramer. That's it.
So John Kramer, the one when he's versus the insurance agent, the insurance people.
Yeah.
That's my least favorite.
Yeah, like I was discussing it last night during the marathon.
Oh, that's funny.
And we were just like, honestly, even around the third one, the franchise kind of dipped like real hard. Like around then, like the first one is the best one,
right?
And then as the franchise goes on, it just gets worse and worse because once spoilers for the series, I guess, once John Kramer dies,
right,
they kind of just repeat the same formula of another apprentice showing up,
right,
or a copycat killer, and usually it's an apprentice, which means he has like 4 apprentices, like official apprentices throughout the series.
And Spiral leads off to like there could be, spoiler alert.
Yeah.
The apprentice in this one is mad at the cops for a reason. So instead of, directing like his anger toward people or a group of people, he's like trying to change the system.
Yeah.
And that's what he's trying to do. It ends on a cliffhanger, like all of them do, kind of like you could see it continuing.
Like Jigsaw was the last one I saw, and it kind of did that. And so
but see, that's what I say. My favorite things about especially the early Saw movies is that ending. That last like few minutes. I'm gonna spoil Saw if you've not seen Saw.
I mean that's
but the first one. But Carrie Elways is trapped. His foot is handcuffed, and his way out is got to cut his foot off because the handsaw they've given him won't. And then the guy who tied him up there kills himself at the beginning of the movie and is laying prone, and then they go through the whole movie about why he would be even in there, shows other victims of Jigsaw. But at the end of the movie, Jigsaw is the guy who shot himself and just gets up and leaves.
Yeah.
And you're just like, holy shit.
Yeah, because it turns out he was just there the whole time.
The whole time, which is a great cliffhanger. Like what, what the fuck, right? It's great.
Yeah.
The second one has a similar kind of,
And
WTF moment.
Yeah, and then it has the whole cop stuff in that one.
Yeah.
and-
The Spiral's lacking that.
yeah.
And like I like Chris Rock. I don't buy Chris Rock as a leading man in a thriller movie.
Okay.
And the reason why is because
Is he supposed to be like the lead cop? I guess?
he's the main cop.
Yeah.
And so my issue with him is that if he's going to do that role, stop doing the Chris Rock jokes. So he's just
Is he still trying to be funny man?
Right, so he's doing, like, it opens, he's undercover, and he does, like, he's with the undercover, the group of baddies he's with, but he's doing, like, bits, like stand-up bits, and it's like, but he does them throughout the movie, and it's just, it doesn't really work for me. I don't know. It's just,
well, didn't he also write this as well?
I know he produced it. I'm not
Okay.
sure if he wrote it.
Okay.
That all being said, it's not terrible.
Yeah.
It's watch. I got it off Amazon Prime for $3. I got my $3 out of it.
Yeah.
Will I go back and see it? I doubt it unless we're doing it on the show. Like
Yeah.
we do a Saw deep dive or something, I might do it. But
I'd rather watch Jigsaw again.
I don't think I saw that one. I may have. Maybe.
Yeah, they did the same like I was saying before with Saw films. They do that same thing though, where they just show flashbacks
Right.
of Kramer killing people to
Right.
make you
Well,
think
this
that
one-
it's the same. Like, because that's my problem with Saw. After he dies, is they just go, here's some flashbacks, but we're not going to tell you they're flashbacks because we're going to make you think that these are happening now and that John Kramer's still alive somehow.
Well,
But
in this one, I think we only get to see one or two live traps.
Okay.
The rest of the traps are like the cops find them and then they show the flashback of like how it happened. So
the flashbacks are more clear. in
right,
this
but
one.
but like you see the body, so you're like, well, they didn't get out of it.
Yeah.
And so it was a bit, kind of a misstep. But it was shot neat. I like the way it looked. It's just
Yeah.
So Forever Purge and Spiral, both mid-grade fun afternoon movies, I guess. I also got Free Guy, but I haven't watched it yet.
Oh yeah, that one's on my list.
Yeah, but it's on Amazon for like $5, so it's well worth it. So I'll probably watch it tonight.
Yeah, I'm waiting. I'm probably going to get it through my Disney Movie Rewards or something because it's one of the films that's listed, or Movie Club rather.
Oh, I got you.
Because I got the Movie Club. It's kind of similar to the old tape, like cassette tapes, where you could order a bunch of them and only pay a little bit,
Right.
and then you end up having to pay back later.
Right.
So I'm already past that point, but I keep it because they give you discounts.
Discounts are good, man.
Yep, discounted Disney movies. I mean,
whatever you can get,
and that
for
includes
free,
like
baby.
Fox movies now. So bigger library.
Right. Like I said, I was up north, and a buddy of mine. It's been on my radar. I know it's everywhere in the zeitgeist, and I was a bad pop culture spirit guide. But I finally bit the bullet and watched Squid Game.
Woo!
And I watched the entire thing in one sitting. I started at 6. I didn't end at like 3 o'clock in the morning the next day. And holy moly, that show. I have thoughts, but you saw it too. I bet you have thoughts.
Yes. A lot of them are how I don't like certain characters, and I'm glad that some of them get their comeuppance, but others I think deserved way worse things.
So for those who've not seen it or have not seen a YouTube video, here's how to summarize it. Poor people are targeted. Poor people with huge debts are targeted by certain people to compete in a game show, not a game show, but a series of life and death games for prize money.
Yeah.
And at the end of it, the survivor will get an equivalent of like $38 million in US dollars.
Yeah.
It's because it's a South Korean show. So the thing I noticed was South Koreans love zeros on their money. He was like, "You're gonna get 100,000 won." I was like, is that a lot? I mean, 100,000 of anything sounds a lot to me. I mean,
yeah, because at the beginning he asked for like 10,000 from the people he owes money to.
Right, and so I had to figure out. So 10,000. Actually, IMDb had it worked out, and I think 10,000 is like $8.
Yeah.
So
yeah, because he ends up buying like lunch or dinner. He buys dinner for his daughter with it.
Yeah, well that, and then he
the toy.
Well, it turned out to be a gun lighter.
Yeah, gun lighter. Father of the Year.
So it focuses on a fella who lost his job about 10 years ago and has kind of struggled to get back on his feet. He's had a couple of businesses that have both failed. He's living with his mom. He's a chauffeur part-time doing and trying to pay back his loan. He owes money to loan sharks. He owes money to the banks. He wins a bunch of money at a horse race, and he gets tracked down by his loan sharks and has to give it all up. Or he would, but he gets pickpocketed. Guy has the worst luck in the world. It's his daughter's birthday. I almost turned it off because it was a little too soft-hearted. I'm a little too soft-hearted for it. I felt real bad for him.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know if I want to go through this guy's journey if it's going to be that bad. I'm glad I stuck with it.
Yeah. It's very rewarding for him, anyways.
Oh, I think so. I think it's the craziest thing for me is that when he joins up and he's the 436. What's his number?
456, I think, is what I was just looking at the character name so I could try my best not to butcher them.
I'm just going with numbers.
456. Yep.
So 456. And I knew it was a 4 to 6.
Yeah, and because there's 456 players.
Yeah, so
total.
he's the last player. And to join this, he has a buddy who he went to school with like high school with. He prompted up.
Yeah, Songwoo.
And
218.
There's a young lady from North Korea who's competing because her brother's in an orphanage, and then she's got to get her money. She's got to get the money to get her mom out of North Korea because her dad's dead.
Yeah, he got shot already from trying to escape.
Right. So
like you were kind of rooting for all the characters, but like only one can really win.
Right. It's very very much like Highlander that way. Only one. There can be only one.
Yeah,
and so,
and then you got the gangster character as well.
Yeah, because you gotta have a bad guy, and then they have a female equivalent. She's just kind of a survivor, but a nutcase.
Yeah, and then you've got number one.
Yeah, number one, who's a beautifully old gentleman with dementia, and we'll talk about him in a minute.
Yeah.
Because we're going to spoil the hell out of Squid Games for you people.
Yeah, this is going to be our full-on complete review.
All right, so when it starts going south for these people is when they play the first game.
Red light, green light.
Red light, green light. Did you play red light, green light as a kid?
Yeah. I think just about everybody has.
Right. I didn't know that was like a worldwide game.
Yeah.
But you learn stuff because the other games I didn't play except Tug of War.
Yeah. I guess when we go down the list, we can discuss.
All right. So first game is red light, green light, and that's the one that's I think everyone sees most, the most iconic.
Yeah, it's definitely the one that TikTok has adopted the most too.
Right.
Because the little scary doll.
Yeah,
character.
the little girl.
Yeah,
the robot girl.
They use the audio for that.
So she's a giant doll. And she looks at she's standing in front of a tree. She looks at the tree. And then from time to time she'll say green light and you run, and red light you have to stop. And then if there's movement, machine guns,
any movement,
So and machine guns pop open and start killing everybody.
Yeah. So
by the end of it, half the people are gone.
Yeah, because at the start, they start really lighthearted about it because they're like, we don't want to reveal it yet. So they're like, oh, these two guys are joking about how, I'm going to win. Let's make a bet on it. Oh, how much of the pot do you want to bet?
Right. The first guy's like, all you got to do is run. I'll run real fast. And so he runs. And he's the first one to go down. It's just because he's about halfway across the moor. And he doesn't move that much. I think he just kind of resets himself and then just gets shot.
Yeah.
It's just like,
and then his buddy is like, oh, you can you don't have to stay completely you don't have to stop moving. Come on, you're already out. Get out of here. And then he walks up during his green light, checks his body, and is like, oh. And that's when everybody starts running.
Right. And then it just it turns out she's got a targeting system in her eyes, and so she's just
And then they've got 50 snipers surrounding the thing.
and the snipers are just mutilating it, just murdering everybody.
Yeah.
So it ends up with about half of them survive, including our hero, 456.
Yep.
And the other people we have mentioned, because they're going to survive most of these.
Yeah.
And then here's what I found crazy. So the rules are you have to compete. Everybody has to participate. If you play in the game, you have to play the game or you're eliminated.
Yep. There is no once you've signed the contract, backing out.
You can't back out. What's the second rule? It's
the second rule. I'll look up the rules real quick.
Right. It's only 3.
Yeah, there's only 3. I know the first is. Oh no, the first is that once you sign, you agree to play the games.
Right.
Second one is you cannot back out.
And the third one is that everyone can vote. If the majority votes, the games will stop.
Yeah.
So they immediately go, F this, have a vote. And it's close. It's closer
it's by 1.
Right, which is surprising to me, how close this is, because half the people died. But I think everyone who I think what they pepper it was, everyone who dies, there's more money added to the pot.
Yes.
But
because at first they don't reveal what the pot is,
right?
And then after red light, green light, they're like, "All right, here's how much.
Here's all this money," and then because it's so much per person.
Yep.
Basically, if they vote to quit, that money goes to the families of those who've fallen.
Yep.
And the survivors don't get anything.
Which is why it was so close.
Right. Which was why it's so close. And then. Still, I'm out. No one said anything about murder.
Yeah, because the whole gimmick is that everybody that's there is in debt of some sort.
Right, huge debt.
Like very large amount of debt, which apparently there's been some research on it, and apparently it's a big issue in South Korea, and that's why this show kind of exists.
Resonates. Yeah. They vote to end the game, so they end the games, and everyone goes home. Or is thrown back to their homes.
Yeah, because
they're on a secret island. This is nowhere near, because when you run a shady organization, you got to have your secret shady island where you do your
almost James Bond level.
Your James Bond thing. We'll come back to it. The reason why it's on a shady island is because the villain, the I don't even want to call him a villain, but
because he's not. I don't think he's a bad guy.
No, he's just killing poor people. Yeah. Rich people are watching it and getting their kicks off watching.
I think there's a bit of commentary on the rich people, which we'll kind of get into when we get to them, but it's very. I say they're the bad guys.
No, I think the rich folks are all like, this is how we're getting our kicks.
But the main guy organizing it, I wouldn't call. Well, he's not even really organizing it. He's just kind of running it.
You're right.
I wouldn't call him a terrible person.
Our 456 goes and tries to tell the police that this is going on, and the police don't believe him, except one detective kind of stumbles into it. It's like, hey, that one guy says this thing. Maybe there's more to this.
Yeah. Especially because he sees the calling card.
Right, the calling card that they're given, and it's crazy. Where it's like they voted to leave, but they get an option to call to come back.
Yeah, and as long as the majority comes back, the game will continue.
Right,
not everybody. You don't have to go back.
Right,
you can choose to stay.
And how many was that? 140.
Yeah, something.
So it's
that.
another half of one of the groups. So they're down to a third of the entire group originally, and that's who plays these games. The detective. I'm not going to spoil everything so you can watch it because you still. But the detective finds his way onto the island. Yeah, that's really fun.
Yeah, because he. The reason he wants to go to the island is not just to stop what's going on.
No, he's looking for his brother.
Yeah, because his brother missed his rent for the last month, which that's a bit plot holey for me once we get to where his brother is. Because when you find out what happened to his brother, it's kind of like...
Which we won't spoil.
No.
We'll keep... We'll.
But it becomes like, how did he miss the rent for that month? Only that month.
Right.
Because he's been missing actually since 2015.
Yeah, it's just weird.
Because the games have... We find out how long the games have been going on.
I don't think that his brother was living in there, because he doesn't mention he saw his brother. He just knows where his brother's at. Because
yeah,
Because he gets the call, I guess, from his folks to be like, "Have you seen your brother?" And he's like, "I'll go check the haunts."
Yeah, and then it turns out he like just missed the 1 month's rent, and he's like, that's interesting.
Or if it is the brother, he's out doing things for that month and just didn't pay rent.
Just forgot, yeah.
Or because anyway,
yeah, with that much money, yeah.
The second game is
it's Honeycomb,
which I'd never heard of.
Yeah, I never heard of it, and then I started playing the new Mario Party that just came out.
Right.
And there's a game that's similar to that's been in a lot of the Mario Party games, and I had a friend that's watched the show, and he was like, "Oh, it's Honeycomb," and I was like, "Oh yeah, you're right."
So basically, you're given a cookie. Right, it's a cookie.
Yeah, because it's basically a sugar cookie.
All right, it's a sugar cookie that has a design in it, and what you've got to do is get the design out of the sugar cookie without breaking it.
But the catch is that they don't know the game beforehand. They never know the game.
Right, no one knows the games, all right.
Except for somebody does find out.
Yeah, also a little plot holy for me.
But basically they don't know the game's going in, except for the one guy, and then the trick is that they pick the shapes before they figured out the game.
Right.
So our homeboy gets stuck with an umbrella.
Right.
The hardest shape.
But he figured it out, so he survives. A lot of people get wasted. Don't get attached to a lot. There's like, you'll watch and you're like, oh, these 5 people I can get attached to. And then, I forgot. I find the most interesting character, though, is the guy from Pakistan.
Oh, yeah, Ali.
Ali, which,
because so he gains the friendship of the main guy from Red Light, Green Light.
And this is me just being American. I just never seen like foreign folks in a foreign country on a show. Like you see it over here, and you're like, of course it's going to be everywhere else. But when I saw him, I was like, that's very cool.
And they kind of deal with the same issues that are here, of, people kind of judging them for not being from the country. I mean, because the North Korean girl has the same issue, like the main antagonist of the players kind of calls her like I forget the word that he uses, but he basically is racist towards her.
Right. The honeycomb kills a lot of people.
Yeah.
The next game
and even one of the guards gets killed from that one.
Right. Oh, we didn't talk about the guards either.
Yeah.
The guards, which
great character design.
Right. They look cool. They're but they're also their identity is hidden from like even each other. Mm-hmm. So I'll talk about this at the end. But,
yeah.
But they have really cool character design
and one of their rules is that they also cannot reveal their identities to anybody.
And most of them, supervisor is like you can't smoke unless the supervisor tells you. And that
higher
kind of,
ups.
That kind of stuff. Our cop sneaks his way through the ranks.
And that's how we kind of learn about that side of the game.
Right, which is fascinating. There's a whole body harvesting subplot in this, which I thought was a little hard to follow, but
yeah, basically one of the characters is a surgeon who got in trouble for he basically lost his license.
So he needs money, and so he's in debt.
And he's like, well, I can help harvest organs for the black market because I've got connections.
Right, and so that's what they're doing on the side for a few things.
And then they tell him the game ahead of time.
Right, and then they're telling him the game, so it makes him prepared. They also feed him extra food and stuff because they're feeding him, but they're not feeding him a lot.
Yeah, they basically
parts of the show break down to like prison riots. Yeah,
because so after game 2,
before tug of war.
So after game 2, they basically go, here's your food. And then they have some food short. Four players did not get... Oh, five. Five do not get their food. And they kind of get angry about it because...
Well, 5 didn't get their food because it was short. 5 didn't get their food because the bad guy...
But it was also short on purpose, though.
Right, which makes no sense to me because... to me, it sounded like they had enough for everybody.
Yeah, it did. But then later during the surgeon plotline, they're like, "Oh, we shorted it on purpose,"
which I don't think is.
It doesn't fit the continuity
unless they knew ahead a time that this other gang was going to because they
the gang member.
because clearly this isn't the first time they've run this game.
Yeah. So or
so this tournament or whatever the hell.
Yeah,
it is.
because the gangster basically forms alliances with
Right.
the more shady of the players.
Right.
And him and his group get seconds. And so the players that did not get fed were upset, start calling out the gangster for like taking their food. Does not end well for those players.
No.
And yeah.
It turns into and our heroes.
Because they find out that people don't have to just die during the games.
Right.
They can die in between the games, and it's legal.
Right. Yeah. The rules are.
And the money pot grows.
Right. The idea is to eliminate enough players, and you can do it whenever.
Yeah.
So,
you just can't. There's certain games though where you can't use violence.
Right. Right.
But in this case, you can do it in the in between. And so then, the next night they go, well, let's just start a riot and kill as many as we can.
Oh, it's crazy. And so that happens. Our heroes, our 456, it's got his childhood buddy. They befriend one who's the old guy.
Yeah, and then Ollie.
Yeah, Ollie, who the old guy's super sweet too.
Mm-hmm.
He's just very nice. He's got some sort of brain tumor, and he's and you meet him pretty kind of early on, and him and 456 kind of bond.
Yep. And then that's it for now of the alliance. They grow it as
they grow, and then like the next game is tug of war, and they break up into groups of 10,
and that's when they have to grow their alliance.
They grow their alliance there. They bring the old guy along, and the old guy turns out to be this great asset because while he doesn't have like a lot of physical strength, he has a ton of like knowledge about games.
Yeah, because he's like, I played all these games as a young boy, so I know the best strategies.
Yeah, how to win, to win.
As long as I can remember, because his dementia does cut in every now and then.
Right, and so tug of war is great because they're on these high towers, and if you lose, you're pulled off, and you fall to your death.
Yep. And that's when they also add to the team, they add a religious zealot player. They add...
Who loves him some Jesus.
And that's when they also add the North Korean player.
Yeah, North Korea.
And then another girl, because they were... And the crazy girl.
Right.
Because even though Gangster and Crazy Girl were teaming up and even had sex...
Yeah, they hooked up in the bathroom.
Yeah, they were like, hey, we're going to be together forever on this team. And then immediately the next game, because Gangster was like, "We need strong men, only men."
Yeah, it gets real sexist in the third round. Like, we don't need any women or old guys.
Yeah,
we need strong people to survive this.
Because the Gangster has teamed up with the Surgeon, and the Surgeon knows all the games.
Right, he knows all the games. Both the bad team and our heroes survive. The fall for the tug of war though is horrifying.
Yeah,
because
some of the bodies don't immediately die.
Right.
Because when they hit the ground, you see the little bit of twitching, and
right.
It's like,
and you find out during the course of the run is what the guards are doing. They're cremating the bodies, and there's like I think it's episode 2 or 3 where there's a guy still alive in the coffin, and they just seal him up and burn him.
Yep, they just go with it. They're like, you lost.
You lost. That's how it works. They're like, holy cow, that's crazy.
Yep.
After tug of war,
it is
marbles. And they're breaking up. They broke up into teams of 2. And they're all everybody's
and once again everybody's like, oh, we just want guys on our team,
right? But they end up going like, we're going with our buddies kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it turns out that they're competing against each other.
Yeah. Because of so basically the Surgeon gets busted.
Yeah. Well
yeah.
Again, a lot of this is we can.
Well, it's important because Crazy Girl isn't on a team because there's an odd number.
There's an odd number, right?
Yeah, that's the roughest episode.
All right, so
it's rough.
I'm not going to spoil all of it, but it is beautifully shot. It is well executed. I mean, just incredibly well executed. The teams each have 10 marbles, and the object is they have to get all 20 marbles by the end of the timeline
using whatever marble-based game you know.
Whatever game they want to play.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be a marble game. It's whatever game they play. And so they really focus on 4. They focus on 4.
Yeah.
Ollie and the dude's friend team up, and
Songwoo.
And then 456 and the old guy in one team up. The gangster and his lieutenant team up, and then the North Korean girl teams up with another girl.
The new girl, yeah,
the new girl who you kind of get basically the North Korean girl's backstory.
Yep, and you also get the other girl's story too.
Right too, which is fascinating, and it's like it's sad because at the end of this, half of these people are going to go.
Yep, and
they even the bad guy, the guy, the boss of the game.
Yeah.
I'm invested in how that's going to work.
Yeah, because at this point, the lieutenant has he's kind of done with the leader's bull.
Right, and he wins, but he got them to let him play a different game, and so...
Yeah. And it's rough. If this is the point where, whatever connections to characters you've had, you're going to get hurt.
I will admit, I don't know if it was the late hour... or I was so wrapped up. At the end of the episode, I am bawling like a little girl who lost her lollipop. I was so devastated by the end of that episode. It wrecked me. I'm a grown man just, it's just, I can't believe what I'm just watching. No. Needless to say, we lose players.
Yeah.
And it's rough. The next game is the window game.
The
window game. So
which is the weirdest one because it's the first one that I couldn't immediately identify what game it's based off of, and most of the internet can't figure it out either.
I think they just made it up. I don't know if it's a game.
So some people think the floor is lava is the closest thing.
Yeah,
but yeah.
So it's we also get to see the VIPs. So
that's when the VIPs arrive.
So the VIPs are these rich guys who have been watching a live stream of these games, and now they've come to the island and to watch the last two games.
It's also where a lot more of the commentary comes in on the rich versus the poor.
Right, absolutely. You don't get to see their identities.
Other than the fact that they're very clearly American.
Except one who's German.
Yeah, except one who's German.
Yeah, they're all American except one German guy.
Yeah. So it's these rich American elites that are watching the poor
USA.
And it's even
Roll
more
Tide, let's go.
It's even more clear in the so I watched the subs and you watched the dubs.
I watched the dubs, yeah.
It's more clear in the subs because whenever English is spoken, whenever they use the English in the subs. So the Americans are using English most of the time.
Right.
And then there's one time where the leader uses English, the one running the games.
But so the game in this one is it's a glass bridge with glass panes, and you've got to cross the bridge. But
yeah, it's basically a 2x.
Yeah,
path.
And so but not every space is filled with. There's a lot of empty space.
Yeah,
but there's two types of glass. There's tempered glass and regular glass. The tempered glass will hold two people. The non-tempered glass will break instantly.
Yeah, because it just can't carry anybody.
Right, you just can't. And so basically, you're trying to figure out which. Very video game like. You're trying to figure out which platforms to land on, and so there's 16 people left by then, and they go in order so you can kind of know where to follow.
Yeah. So at the beginning of that game, they have to once again, not knowing the game yet, have to pick who's going to go in what order. They basically pick their number,
right? And
of course, the Americans the VIPs are kind of judging, going, I wonder which numbers they'll go for first.
Right, they're betting on it. One guy, the one guy who's overly sexual,
the most American obvious,
right? And he's I'm betting on 69, and well, that one didn't work. I'll do 96. So
they're going, well, they'll go to the middle numbers because they're animals.
So I thought he was the guy who played Swamp Thing on Con Air. He sounds just like him.
The VIP,
right? But when all the other VIPs are masked. He has a little rendezvous on the side and takes.
Yeah,
off
eventually
his mask.
we see he's
and so it wasn't him, but it sounds just like him. So it's just the bridge thing ends with 3 survivors.
Yep.
The 3 survivors.
Which there's some clever ways of how they almost figure it out.
And you guys can watch that because it's very cool. And then it ends with 3 going into the final game. one person doesn't survive the night, so they have 2 continue.
Yep.
And then the last game's a Squid Game, and then we have a winner at the end of it. But so you can watch it, but it's like
and that,
even with the spoilers we gave.
Honestly, the last game is also so the Marbles is the one that I would say is the most emotional,
right?
But Squid Game is like the second most emotional because of all the things that have built up to this
because
moment.
the show starts with kids playing Squid Game, and it ends with the adults playing Squid Game for survival. And
the 2 players that are there, it's the most emotional connection.
Right. So anyway.
Yeah, without giving away.
And then it goes on for another 20 minutes, which usually I complain about that kind of stuff, but I'm kind of into it.
And in this case, it kind of fits because we see we see how the survivor kind of copes with this because there's a lot of trauma that has now been built.
So it leads in a way where it goes to like a second season, which I don't think there is necessarily need for one.
Yeah.
The guy who created the show says that there was no plans for one as of now. But yeah, as you pointed out to me earlier before we got on air, it's made a lot of money for Netflix.
Yep.
So we'll probably get a sequel.
Yeah.
However,
Netflix would be kind of insane not to.
Right. So here's my pitch for a sequel. I would like the reverse. I would love to see the stories of the guards.
Like more in depth than
the staff. Yeah. Well, like the staff have a story. There's a look.
Yeah, because so I guess so. The one, since we already brought up that one of them gets killed for revealing his face.
Right.
He's young.
Right. They're young.
Like they reveal that he's basically a child.
Yeah.
And so there's a reason that they're involved, and we kind of know. I'm kind of curious about the guy that's running the games right now, and how
the front man.
Yeah, the front man. How they decided to go back and be in charge of it because we figure out who they are a little bit.
Right. We get a little. But I want to know like. It seems to me that there are desperate people desperate enough to take this risk. Because they do. Because once they're once
you're in, there's no going back.
Right.
At least on the guard side, especially.
You're right on the guard side, but on the player side, there's that clause where enough can vote out.
Which after the marble game, they almost do.
They do twice. They do twice. After the marble game, anyway.
Yeah, because somebody's really heartbroken, which it makes sense.
Man, I was heartbroken. I've been like, I'm done. But that's a level of desperation to make you, because like I said, after the red light, green light, half of them are murdered.
Yeah.
And then half of that group of survivors come back.
Yeah.
And so,
well, because they comment in the show, they go, well, it's way worse out there than being here.
So it's the desperation is crazy.
Yeah.
The flip side is, how bad does it have to be for you to go to an island and like burn bodies and just kind of
be willing to participate in essentially murder
you're being accessories to murder and also possibly be murdered yourself if you don't follow the rules.
Yeah.
And so I walked into this thinking it was going to be a battle royale or a Hunger Games kind of thing, and it's so that and more.
Yeah.
And so, the stuff we left out, like I said, I want you to watch it.
Yeah, it's a good show.
It's crazy. It is so crazy.
But at the end, it's almost like inspirational near the end until like they do the season 2 hook.
Yeah, I don't know.
Once they do the season 2 hook, they kind of take away the inspirational moment.
All right.
To a degree, a lot. It's still very much like positive.
Still recommend it. Recommend it. Highly recommend it. I think if South Korean drama is halfway as good as what I watched in Squid Game, I think I'm gonna start watching it. I gotta find out. So I gotta get some recommendations. But I gotta.
Yeah.
So if you know anything, put it in the comments below or send me an email scotty@gmail.com because I'd love to find out some more.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Moving on, we'll wrap this up because we talked a lot about Squid Game.
Yeah.
I will say I would not survive. I'd be terrible.
I would not survive. Although I think the glass one, there was a way to cheat that one.
Oh, okay.
Because there's the panels that are holding up the glass, and
Right.
nobody thinks to put their legs there.
Right.
Because they don't say you can't.
Right.
Because there's a lot of like loopholes to these games
Right.
that they figure out throughout.
I thought about that too. I was like, why isn't anyone trying to do? But
Yeah, because basically the rules are set, but you're allowed to find creative ways out of them.
right. They also had to remove their shoes, but didn't they no one took their shoes with them. I would like use them to throw at glass panels, and at least it got me through 2 maybe.
Yeah.
If I threw them hard enough. But
Yeah, because you would know which one is regular glass if it broke.
right.
Tempered would probably hold up against a
Yeah,
shoe.
Right. So, but there was that. So
Yeah.
we have a movie next week.
Yeah, we do.
We are entering Movember. I'll let Stephanie talk about that more next week. But that's our charity. We always do Movember and November. We look out for men's health. Steph's father died of cancer a while back, but the treatment he got allowed him to live another 11 years. So we're big supporters of the Movember Foundation. So we're doing manly movies and movies with mustaches this month, as we always do every November. We come on a weird fact talking to Steph earlier this year, and I think it was on the podcast. But Stephanie has never played Super Mario Brothers, which I find insane.
Yeah.
Like,
Because I feel like even the least gamer people have at least played that.
Super Mario Brothers, right?
Yeah.
But she's in this weird sweet spot. She like graduated high school before the Nintendo, and she got she was in college and she was doing other things, and she got married and had kids, and so she just missed it. And so by the time like her kids had N64, they had missed she missed like 2 generations of consoles. Or 3, no, yeah, 2 because the N64 then GameCube.
Yep.
So she's never played it. So on that thought, I was like, well, we can do a tie-in. So we're gonna watch the Super Mario Brothers movie. Have you ever seen it?
Multiple times.
Multiple times. Wow.
I'm gonna wait to give my opinions on it, but yeah.
Next week.
Yeah.
So we're gonna watch it. We're gonna show the trailer now.
Feeling we're not in Brooklyn no more.
Luigi! Sandy! You better not hurt us!
They're brothers. They're plumbers.
Oh no! Mario! Luigi!
They're on the trail of a kidnapped princess and a mystical meteorite
It's incredible!
that gives anyone who possesses it the power to rule the universe.
Get me the rock! Come and get it, lizard breath!
Now, they must rescue the princess
Luigi!
Alien species escaping.
and make it safely back
Later, alligator.
to our world
Are you alright?
before time runs out.
Shoot him! You're a fat plumber! Look out, Mario! Get him! Yes! No, stop! Gotcha! Oh, no, not again!
Super Mario Brothers. This ain't no game.
I am sad I don't get to ask Jestina what she thinks it's about, or Stephanie for that matter. Actually, you know what? Maybe we can. Hey, how's it going?
It's good. I'm trying this now.
Yeah, because I couldn't get you on the phone.
I know. I got you, and then it dropped.
Right, we don't know what happened there. So now, okay, so I'll try this on Facebook. All right, so Caleb and I we're talking on the podcast, and we got to the part where we're going to talk about next week's movie, and we don't, Justina's sick, but I think Justina's seen this movie, so I figured
Okay.
I'd ask you. So our movie is Super Mario Brothers,
Right. I've never seen it.
which you've never seen. What do you think
Correct.
Super Mario Brothers is about?
Oh, I think. Well, okay. So let's be honest. I'm not an idiot, so I know that Super Mario's is based on a game.
Right,
So
absolutely.
I think it's.
What do you think the game's about?
I think it's about 2 really fat Italian guys chasing pizza. And at the end of their pizza quest, there's this princess that will give them all the free pizza that they can eat.
Love it.
If they win.
So do you think the movie's...
There's this green little lizard thing, too, I think. Is there? Is there a green lizard thing?
There may be a green lizard thing.
I don't remember. It seems like I remember something like a green lizard thing. But maybe if you don't get the pizza, you have to fight the lizard. I don't know. So maybe that's what it's about.
I think that's what... I'm kind of into that. That might be...
You know, it sounds like a good movie.
It sounds like a good movie.
Yeah, I totally think that. So if you win, if you're like one of the fat Italian guys and you win, you get to eat the pizza and the princess. And then if you lose, you have to fight the lizard.
All right,
like
so do you think the princess is just into the pizza or is she into the dudes?
I think that she's surprised that she can win.
She gets no choice. And this is why this movie's problematic. That's why I couldn't. It's not streaming anywhere. I had to buy physical. We're gonna watch it together next week, so that should be fun.
Right. She's a princess and she tastes like peaches.
Oh, she tastes like peaches.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Before we let you go, me and Caleb just spent like way too much long time talking about Squid Game.
Too much long time?
Yeah, too much long time. Talking about Squid Game. Did you finish it?
Oh my God! So yes, I did finish it. And I wish that I had known you were going to do the podcast today. I would have been there.
Caleb showed up and it just kind of happened.
Okay, so Squid Game, loved it.
I did too.
Oh my God. Okay, so here's my thing about Squid Game. It's like each episode just kind of sucked you in, and whoever came up with the concept, whoever was directing, would just like cut you off right at the right moment where you had to watch the next episode. Just
absolutely.
Like you had to do it. It was amazing. And then the whole the guy I wanted to win the game won the game, of course, but at what cost? It was like crazy. And then at the end with the old man that I wanted to throat punch at the end, but he died anyway. Spoiler alert. It was just crazy. I mean, the message, the whole message. Oh my God, I love Squid Game.
So I binged it in one sitting.
Yeah, well, yeah, because you have to.
Yeah, I couldn't stop.
Because I
could
would
not
watch
stop.
it at night. Yeah, I watched it at night, so I couldn't binge it in one sitting because I had to go to work the next day. So it didn't take me long to watch it because I would even at lunch watch half of an episode and come home and finish it. It was
so I just want to briefly talk about episode 6, the marbles one.
Which one, the marbles?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I cried like a baby, Stephanie. I bawled at the end of that episode. I was a mess.
So I don't, me, I'm not a crier.
Right, I am. I will cry at the drop of a hat.
Even me is and I think the hardest thing was the whole guy with Ali.
Yeah,
Ali.
That's the one that hit me because I'm the other guy was such a fucking asshole to him. I mean, it was
Sang-woo.
Caleb's not a fan.
Oh my God, I was so upset about that whole thing. And yes, that was so hard because I can see us, okay, we're in teams. I can see you and I pairing up for a team thing like that. And I would hate to have to whip your ass. I really would.
You wouldn't have to. I would let you win.
Oh, but see, I don't even know if I could do it, though. I really don't know if I could do it.
I'd let you win. I'd be like...
No, but see, I don't
I've had a good one.
You and I would be like the two girls at the end.
Right.
I think.
Yeah.
I really think you and I would end up being like the two girls. It's it would be terrible. It'd just be terrible. That was so hard.
Now, I just wanted to get your thoughts on it, because I was hoping you had finished it, because,
yeah.
I liked it. I really did. And we talked about it, so it's real cool. Well, happy Halloween. I hope you have lots of trick-or-treaters.
Woohoo. Yes, happy Halloween. Happy Halloween. I'm looking forward to it.
And we'll be back on next week's recording. So
sounds good. Hi, producer Caleb.
Hi.
He says hi.
I heard him. I heard him.
All right. Talk to you later.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
So, fat guys and pizza. Her answer is fat guys and pizza. All right. I like that.
Yeah.
So next week we're watching Super Mario Brothers. So watch it before. I would tell you, maybe you can find it on YouTube. I don't know where. Like we had to buy copies.
Was there not a even rental?
No, it's not streaming anywhere.
Huh.
That's why I had to buy copies.
Interesting.
That's what it is. This is Scotty saying this is our contribution to the multiverse. Go out and make yours.